Say that you're gonna go fuck me up. You wanna fuck me up? Was that it? Say that. Say that. No. I'm just wanna make sure that we got clarification for you to say that you wanted to fuck me up. Say it again. Say it again. No, I'm not threatening. I'm saying.
Hello, it's Mechanic Link, and let's get into the juicy details of what happened to me back in 2018. I used to work for a company which I have nicknamed Lava Rock. I do need to put down some context, though. A few months prior to that video, I had an awesome manager, an okay assistant manager, and that guy who was a sales representative. Well, the regional manager of Lava Rock had left for another company and took my manager with him. Everybody goes up the food chain. The okay assistant manager becomes the manager, and that sales representative becomes the assistant manager. This guy had no prior automotive experience, like whatsoever. I think he was a furniture salesman before that. Anyways, at this particular Lava Rock, I was being sandbagged. I was scheduled 10-hour shifts 5 days a week, which is fairly normal for auto mechanics. But here's the thing, I was flat rate, which is sorta kinda like commission and no overtime. And this was a high volume store. We had 6 mechanics covering 18 bays, 7 days a week, 14 hours a day. One mechanic worked at that shop for 20 years, so naturally he gets the gravy work. The second mechanic was a burnout who should have left the auto industry because of how many mistakes he made. Then there was me, a mixture of diag and repair. Mechanic number 4 was alright. Mechanic number 5 is actually an apprentice. He was slow and inefficient, but he actually does a lot better later. The last mechanic was also an apprentice who was slow and inefficient and eventually leaves us to go to Burger King. We were effectively 50% beneath a skeleton crew. And when you're short on labor, managers need to stretch that out. So for 9 out of 10 hours out of that day, I would be hammered with tires and electrics, just bam, 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 non-stop. And it's not until the very last hour that they would hit me with a 5 or 6 hour job that had to be done by the end of the night. And it would be something like steering, suspension, diagnostics, whatever. This was their way to ensure that I was working 14, 15, 16-hour days. And they did this to me for months. For those of you who don't know, over at Lava Rock, oil and tires pay less than dirt. You lose time. You lose against that clock. There is no winning. I had confronted the managers that I cannot keep up this pace. They are sandbagging me. This is unfair. Link, what are you talking about? We would never do that to you. You're a valued employee here. It got so bad, I contacted Human Resources. Keep in mind, this is in Florida, with Florida heat and Florida humidity, where there's no AC. Effectively, it's a sweatshop, which is pretty difficult to do for 14 hours a day. Anyways, they caught wind that I contacted HR, and they were not happy. The OK manager was smart. He just said, what the fuck, and then he shut up and continued on with his day. But the guy in the clip that I showed, like, he was a tryhard. He wanted to be gangster. Like, this is all I could think of. I was on my way out. I was going to lock my box, walk to my truck, and then I was just going to wait for Human Resources to contact me. And then Prison Mike had to say something uppity. Oh, if we were back in my neighborhood, we would take you out back of the shop and curb stomp you. At that point, something in me just snapped. I whipped out my phone and I started recording. The moment he realizes that he's being recorded, he tries to flip the script. Are you threatening me? Get out of here. Get out. Are you threatening me? Man, get the phone out of my face. After all that and showing Human Resources what video footage I did have, this was the result. I got transferred to another shop, which honestly was better for me. Shortly after, the OK manager ended up leaving to go manage 3 car washes. Prison Mike stayed an assistant manager, but corporate ended up sending 2 other assistant managers and another new manager to more or less keep the shop, in check. Moral of the story, Human Resources is not your friend.